So we talked about the different variations of PTSD, ranging from just regular nightmares to people having increased arousal to just very different things. There are a couple of ways to help everybody who has PTSD get over it. Um, there are many different options available for treatment. When my husband was first diagnosed with PTSD, he actually entered a STARS program through Fort Hood. And basically, what they did in this program was they had the patients tell stories. They had them tell stories of basically their whole ordeal that they had. So anything that really bugged that patient, or just any sort of story that really bugged that patient, they would have them sit down with a recording and have them talk about it repeatedly, almost to the point where that's all they talked about. And then after they left, the counselors would give them an assignment to do. So one for my husband was, you know, she doesn't like to be in crowded spaces. So one for him was to go to a grocery store, just any regular grocery store, and to find the busiest aisle that there was, and he had to stand there. He had to stand there and not look for a way out. Which obviously, if you have PTSD, you're going to want to look for a way out. So it was just little things like that that kind of helped. You know, if they told him beforehand that it would get worse before it got better, and it did. But slowly over time, it did get better to the point where he can stand in a crowded aisle now and not look for an exit. Um, One of the problems with doing this kind of treatment, though, is, they become distant. They become so distant that it's hard for anyone who's around them to really deal with it. So, when my husband was going through this, he was so distant. He didn't want to talk about anything that kind of, happened during his therapy. And it's understandable, but when you're put in that position, it's hard to, like pulling teeth. You want to know what's going on. You want to know how they're feeling. You want to know how you can help, and there is no way that you can help. You just have to let them be, how they are. Um, another another way to help people cope with PTSD is psychopharmacotherapy. It's basically pretty much how it sounds. You're getting prescribed different pills to kind of help, and different medication to help you, whether it's anxiety medication, depression medication, it's medication to help you sleep at night. It's something that is definitely, for someone who has bigger issues for them to want to do. The only issue with doing this sort of therapy is it's hard for any doctor to put two different medications together without getting a reaction. So it's definitely hard for the patients because you don't know which medication you're going to have a reaction to. You don't know what's possibly going to go wrong. And some medications just don't work. So it's definitely one of those things that um, obviously psychotherapy would be better than taking much medication. So in conclusion, PTSD does have more than meets the eye. There is more to it than most people think. Um, while my husband went through it, I didn't realize how much more there was to it. And going through it personally with someone that I love and care for, it definitely gives me an understanding of how difficult it is for these people and how it's difficult for them to find any sort of um, any sort of therapy or anything to kind of help them get through it. So I hope this gave you guys some insight to PTSD, and I know it's not an overnight fix, but I hope that with the insight we can all kind of help everybody who has PTSD.